Hello, how are you doing, Am? How do you like the new lighting? It's pretty bright, I know. We'll see how it goes. I'm still making adjustments to my setup. And hey, check out the new background. That's looking pretty cool, huh? Sort of a winter, October-y, flowery motif. We'll see how that works out. So today is the 5th of September, and it is approximately 12:30 p.m. So I'm here on my lunch break. Thought I'd take some time out and speak with you today about what was going on in my life. One thing that's happening is I'm getting my camera today. My Canon M50 mirrorless camera, something I've been anticipating for about the last couple days. Looking forward to upgrading my video blogging experience and upgrading the sound and the lighting. I got some lighting in today, and I'll be getting in the camera and the microphone in hopefully today or tomorrow. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing some of those upgrades take place. Looking good. I'm excited about those changes. I'm excited about sort of improving my methods, and that's always nice to see. So let's start off by reading a passage from Peaceable Living. All right, this is Mary Mackenzie's book, and I'm turning to September 5th. So this is what it says. It's a quote. "Some people are always grumbling that roses have thorns. I am thankful that thorns have roses." By Alphonse Carr. I'll read that again. "Some people are always grumbling that roses have thorns. I am thankful that thorns have roses." By Alphonse Carr. My initial thought about that quote is that, it's almost like there's two different perspectives at play. If you're complaining about how roses have thorns, in a way you may almost be taking for granted the rose and focusing your attention on the thorn, lamenting that that's the way reality is. The other perspective is to appreciate the appreciate the thorn. No, just to acknowledge the thorn and appreciate that thorns have roses. It's interesting. Which perspective is better? Well, I guess when you appreciate that thorns have roses, that is a feeling of gratitude. I can feel that energy, that gratitude energy. Oh, thorns have roses, you're kidding me. It's like, wow, how wonderful that that is the case. You're sort of left with this aftertaste of just enjoyment. Roses, thorns have roses, and they're so beautiful. Whereas the other perspective is, oh, we got a rose and it's got thorns. Oh, ugh, I could feel that lowering of energy when you acknowledge the thorns. And then it stays in that perspective stays in that low energy state. It's almost like music. Is your music going to end on a high note, or is it going to end on a low note? It's kind of interesting that perspectives can have that kind of impact on your mood. Well, let's see what else Mary Mackenzie has to say about that passage. She says, "Manifesting what we love. We manifest whatever we focus on. If you focus on the negative, you will receive negativity. If you focus on what works, you will experience success. In a way, focusing on what we love is a form of affirmation." Years ago, I learned to use affirmations, so I would spend 3 minutes each day affirming that my life was abundant with love. I felt silly doing this because I didn't believe it. My life wasn't full of love, so why did it help to lie about it? that form of affirmation just didn't work for me. Today, I affirm the needs and values I love. Even if I don't have what I love, I can honestly say I love it. For example, if I'm struggling with someone, I affirm I love ease, compassion, and openness in relationships. I may not experience this in the moment, but I affirm what I love. By doing this, I tell the universe what I want in my life. What needs and values do you want to manifest in your life? Tell yourself that you love these, and then allow the manifestation to appear. Express what you love today, and then let it come to you. Okay. I have a slightly divergent view of this passage. Maybe I can explain it a little bit. You know, I can appreciate where she's coming from. If her life is absent or void of these particular attributes of, say, love and affection, the strategy she uses to get more of it in her life is to, think about love and affection as abstract principles that she enjoys having in her life. Well, I don't think I'm so keen on that, because I think that, while on the surface might appear like a good idea, I think in practical terms merely acts to sort of create a separation. I think a more effective way of working with that kind of thing is to focus on, say, love and affection in your life as it is in the moment, and appreciate what small amounts, even if they are small amounts, appreciate what small amounts are present in your life. Yeah. See, that rings more true to me. It's about appreciating, if you want more love, say, in your life, I say, so become sensitive to where it is, where it shows up. Does it show up in your casual conversation with the grocery clerk when you're getting groceries? Does it show up when you're in an elevator and exchange smiles or pleasant looks with, say, a coworker? Sort of pay attention to where the joy and where the love is showing up in your life, and then focus on that and how much you appreciate that, and try to make efforts to expand that love and appreciation for that aspect of your life. Pay attention to what's working. Maybe you find that you run into a lot of loving people when you leave your home and you're out and about in town or on the streets. That is an important clue to where love can be found for you. And so do more of that. Get outside your room. You know what I'm finding? This light, I'm not sure if it's me or the light, but it's really warm in here. Ooh-wee. Loving it. Whew. First of all, I love living in California. And I love how warm it gets. And so I would rather be a little bit too warm than a little bit too cold. So, here I am in lovely California in the autumn time. And I am feeling the warmth of it. So, okay, back to the subject. So that's what Mary Mackenzie was talking about. She says, express what you love today and then let it come to you. Okay. Again, I think I diverge with Mary on this particular quote. When she says, express what you love today. Now, that makes a lot of sense. Please do express what you love today. And then let it come to you. Well, I think I'm more of an advocate of taking action and seeking it out. Don't necessarily, you're welcome to let it come to you. Yeah, certainly. Sit back, relax. stare into the sky and let it come to you. Though I think a more effective strategy would be to notice where it's going on, these qualities are going on in your life, and then take steps toward them. Yeah, I like that. I like it because it's a little more, you're sort of exercising your freedom to choose, right? And to decide what to do next. And you're also sort of exercising your ability to care for yourself. Yeah. Anyway, very good. Very good. So that was that passage. Let's see. I have my handy dandy clipboard with some ideas on it. So let's see what's next. The statement I have here written on my board is creativity can solve all problems. I think that one of my signature personality traits is creativity. And, I think this really runs true in my family. I've got really creative family members. One name that comes to mind is Enrico, my brother and your uncle, who, is always doing something creative with computers and technology, working with others in cooperation, and just coming up with these amazing projects and works of art. Very creative. And I know I enjoy photography, and I'm also enjoying some jewelry making right now in my class at Allen Hancock College. And I also enjoy writing. I think I'm a really good writer. I think I tend to be really good at English. And I'm moderately good at expressing myself verbally. All that takes creativity. And I think I'm also quite creative when it comes to solving problems. That's not to say that I'm good at solving problems. But I have a lot of great ideas related to solving my own problems. I wish I took more, sort of expended more energy to move forward with those creative ideas. Sometimes I stall out, but I have a lot of creative ideas. I'm an idea man when it comes to creativity. And so I appreciate that about myself. That's something I really love about myself. I love how creative I am. Because, partly the reason I am so creative is that I am so hopeful that the creative ideas will solve the problems. There's a lot of hope. In a way, I'm very idealistic. I really want things to unfold according to a stated process, and have outcomes that are anticipated. And, that's, I really kind of rely on that. And in a way, I'm idealistic. I recognize that. Maybe less than practical sometimes. Yeah. Though I think that my creativity is a real benefit. If you have this coupling of creative ideas and personal energy, where you take action and move forward on those ideas, that is a really powerful combination. Yeah, the imagination, the creativity, and the energy. Oh, wow. Right there, that is a perfect combination. If you can combine creativity and energy in your life, in any area of your life, whether it be your relationships or your work or your art or any other of your passions, if you can do that, there is really no limit that you can accomplish. In particular, if I'm also quite easy to satisfy in terms of making progress, if your standards are such that you will continue to make progress or to take action, even in the face of apparent rejection or failure, then either two things will happen. You will eventually succeed or you won't. And you'll still be happy about the stepping stones that you've moved on during the series of actions. So in a way, there's no way you can lose. You know, you're always either learning or succeeding, you know? And you're enjoying the process as it's happening. Oh yeah, that's something that's really important to me. And that is that not only should life be enjoyable. I mean, not only should you do what you want, but life should be enjoyable too. You know, take action to fulfill your needs and try to do it in an enjoyable way. Absolutely. And if you find that something is not as enjoyable as you'd like, stop doing it if you can. Yeah. You know, we all have that choice to act or not to act. And we have that choice in regard to every decision that is posed, in every situation. We have, you know, whether you act or not. And, you know, it doesn't always make sense to act. You know, I think a lot of the time people make their lives harder than they have to be. You know, you hear a lot about the strife and wailing and lamentations that people describe about their life and their struggles. You know, the slings and arrows of life, which are real. People have setbacks, some more considerable than others. This is real. Though, you know, the degree of emotional pain that accompanies those setbacks is optional. It always is, always has been. I think people make their lives harder than they need to be, quite often. You know, and they do it for a lot of reasons. But, you know, more specifically, you know, I think that, you know, what makes life hard is quite often the thoughts we have in our mind about what is going on. You know, I think I talked a few videos ago about how everything is a projection. You know, we are continuously, as human beings, sort of casting our interpretation out about our external reality. And, you know, if any of those interpretations stick, then we grasp them and we use them. And that makes a lot of sense. You know, it's sort of a trial and error process. But in a way, those interpretations are all from within. They are from within us. That material about, you know, what my work is like, or what my school is like, or what my relationships are like, or even what I am like. Those are all interpretations that I make at the beginning with ideas and concepts that are available to my consciousness. You know, I'm using terms and words that are available to me, you know, with my level of knowledge and psychological understanding. You know, these are the ideas that are present to me. And then what I'll do is I'll try to apply them to my reality. I will overlay them on my external reality. And to the degree they fit, they fit. To the degree they don't, they don't. But the idea here is that it's all my material. So the disappointment that shows up in my external world is always my own disappointment. It's always generated by me and my own mind, by the thoughts that I've produced, and by the words that I use to describe my external reality. You know, those words have connotations. They have meanings. You know, every time I throw out a word, every time I project that word onto my external reality, there's a meaning. I'm broadcasting. And I'm doing that for all elements of my external reality. Oh, my rice is done. So, I wonder if that will stop beeping. Ah, it will. Okay. So, so my point is this. Life is tough. But I think that a good 50% or more of that toughness, maybe even 80% of what makes life tough has more to do with our own thoughts. The thoughts that we use to describe the world. 80%. Yeah, there's a lot of pain and hardship in life, and there's a neutral reality. There's an objective reality to that. I mean, it hurts. And I'd say 20% of that pain is actual nerve pain that has to happen. Or it could be just separation, the amount of change that occurs in a person's life. That some amount of that is just reality, unchangeable reality. And our brains and bodies have adapted to manage that change. 80%, however, of the pain of life, emotional and physical pain, well, actually, yeah. I think I'm asking myself, am I including physical pain in that as well? Well, the amount of pain that one feels is a subjective experience. Very much so a subjective experience. Not all of it. A component of physical pain is subjective. But a component of physical pain is very subjective. And so it's very important to recognize. I think it's true. A good 80% of life's discomfort and pain, I'm guessing, is thought-based. Yeah. And what that means is that it is largely unnecessary. So that leads to the obvious question of why? Why? Why do we put ourselves through this pain? There's a lot of reasons why. People, for example, are self-critical. They're very self-critical when it comes to their inner voice. And, a lot of that self-criticism goes so far as to stimulate stress responses in the body. And these stress responses are useful. Quite often, they make you feel more energetic. If, say, you have a negative thought related to anger, and that anger escalates in your own mind, then that will get you to eventually, if it becomes uncomfortable enough, take action. And because you feel energized, when the adrenaline starts coursing through your body, triggered by the thoughts that you think, your adrenal glands start pumping that adrenaline away, and you get really excited, and you take the energy, and you get the energy, and you move forward on that project. And in a way, to some extent, that is useful. People recognize that as useful. It comes at a cost, certainly. You're tired after the exertion. All that emotional energy works your muscles because it creates a lot of tension in your body. It'll create tension in your shoulders, tension in your neck, in your chest, in your belly, in your legs, in your arms. There's a cost to using emotions that way. So again, why do we do it? Why do we make life so uncomfortable through extreme thoughts? Well, there is a practical utility to it. I think people have recognized it. If you torture yourself long enough, maybe you'll get up off the couch and start running. Maybe you'll change your diet, right? If you make yourself as uncomfortable as possible about your diet and the food you eat. It just works. But all that discomfort and pain is self-generated. A lot of people have a really strong sense of justice. They're quick to make judgments about what is right and what is wrong, what is good and bad. And, that's great to some extent. It brings people energy to take action. But at the same time, it can be a really challenging way to live your life, having a lot of that emotional pain present continually in it. And, my heart goes out to people who are sort of paying a lot of attention to the political conversations and paying a lot of attention to even conversations in their own relationships, where they struggle continually to, survive these difficult thoughts that are going through their minds. It's a struggle. There's also another reason I think that we think painful thoughts, and it has to do with honoring somebody or something. Aretha Franklin recently died, and I enjoyed Aretha Franklin's music as much as anyone else, and I was sad when she died. I mean, a really gifted musician that deserved every accolade. And that sadness, it was useful in terms of sort of being a point at which we all collectively sort of recognized that she wouldn't be around anymore. And I can think of sadness has a practical utility, and that is it helps us detach from things we love, like Aretha Franklin's music and Aretha Franklin herself. So emotions have that kind of utility where they can create separation when separation is needed. Yeah. Oh, I only briefly touched on another point. So my third point about why people engage in negative thinking has to do with honoring someone. Oh yeah, that's how it was related to Aretha Franklin. In a way, feeling sad about Aretha Franklin's passing was a way to honor her importance. Yeah, that's how we all collectively honored her importance in our lives. And maybe the importance of that kind of music. Of course, her death triggered this outpouring of sadness because, we're all recognizing just how important her and her music was to us. And so we all collectively hurt at the same time to honor her. And people hurt to honor the dead and the sick and the dying. People make themselves hurt to honor a loss because, they're important to us. And because, their presence had meaning. And when that was taken away, we had to deal with the loss, and we had to sort of integrate that new information into our worldview. And, feeling sad and deep remorse is a way to honor that loss. I know I've felt that. In a way, it's virtuous. It's virtuous to honor the people that we've lost. It's part of what makes human beings so great. Yeah. It's about respecting others. Yeah. Even though I think we all kind of recognize that feeling sad isn't necessarily going to help her. It might help us from a practical practical perspective in that it'll separate, sort of allow some separation, or even create separation. But, you know, in a way, it is about acknowledging and respecting the loss of something important to us. Anyway, on that happy note, I'm going to sign off. I love you, girl. Have a wonderful day.